Hi, Lyssa here. Welcome to the Daily Courage. Today, I really want to talk about emotions since we all seem to have them and they often run below the surface of every situation without us being consciously aware of what's driving us. In the work by Lisa Feldman Barrett in her book, How Emotions Are Made, she talks at length about the idea of the constructed emotion theory. And this is an idea that emotions don't just show up inside of us arbitrarily, but rather based on our past experiences, based on the ways that we think about things, the things that we want, our hopes and dreams, that our emotions ultimately come out of these filters of experience that we have. And as we're making meaning about something, we decide whether it's good or bad, or like I like to talk about often is somewhere on the threat to safety spectrum. And as a result of that, we have an emotional response to whatever the situation is that's happening. And I think it's really interesting when you think about how we construct our emotions, even though it's unconscious, because you can take two people who are in the exact same situation and they will have very different responses to that situation, or at least possibly could have two very different responses to that situation. And so one of the things that I'm really paying attention to in my work and also in myself is seeing emotions not as an end all be all, it's true because I feel it, but rather as a doorway into being curious with myself about what's going on really below the waterline. Like what I can see on the iceberg, using the iceberg metaphor, is really behaviors, actions and results. But what's below the waterline are those things that are driving us. And often our emotions, if we've determined something's bad or good, will drive us towards having an action and then ultimately a result that isn't necessarily useful for us. So I really like her work on constructed emotion and how emotions are made. I highly recommend it. But the other thing I really like is this idea of when I notice an emotion inside of myself, whether it's anger, or frustration, any kind of annoyance. You can even do this with positive emotions, yet positive emotions often don't carry the same sort of weight in the sense of they're not annoying us, we're enjoying them. So we're less likely to be curious about them because it's fun. But good place to be curious, like what allows for you to have fun in this moment versus what is having you feel annoyed, right? And so when you notice the annoyance, what is the annoyance really about? Where else in your life might you be experiencing a similar kind of annoyance? What is the pattern of annoyance that you have? What does annoyance protect you from? And taking a look at these experiences of emotion from a more multifaceted viewpoint, walking around the emotion from multiple perspectives, and really getting curious about how these emotions are shifting how we're in relationship to the situation that we find ourselves. So I hope this was useful and that it invites you to be curious and walk around the facets of the experience that you're having and looking for places where you can start to notice habits, patterns, maybe places where strong beliefs are being triggered or poked, and be curious with yourself about what that tells you you need to be paying attention to in your own life so that you can let go of the annoyance and move forward and do what needs to be done. Hope this was useful. Thank you so much for watching.